What's the most important thing to you? Why is prayforming so important to you?
From my subjective understanding of things, I believe that the energy of my pure expression affects an environment and vibrates it in a way that is full of all of that ecstatic joy that I express from Prayformance. And especially when it's in Prayformance and I can do full ceremony, because then my intent and my presence is so fully realized. But even when it's a simple thing of just playing in a spot, the vibration that I put my body through to sing and play the violin, and from such a natural, organic place, is really healthy and full of a good vibrations for that space. Everywhere. So when we did the Chiang Mai place, and we were in the center of Chiang Mai, which is what it claims to be, and on the map it says this is the center of this city, I felt like that was a blessing given to do a full expression right there in the center of the city that will then emanate through the entire city. And I also feel it's more powerful than electronics, because electronics are false. There seems to be a connection, there seems to be vibration. We saw that DJ talk about how when he does this, he makes everybody's body vibrate. But the vibration is not, the intent of that vibration is important. And if the intent is greedy, if it's full of ego, then that's what's happening. That's past. And electronics in itself there's a space in between the vibration and the thing that is vibrating that is empty, but it's almost a mirage.
Mm-hmm.
I can go on and on about it too.
You can.
That's why DJs are so full of ego, because they don't have a connection to their audience. If their plug is pulled, they're not able to do what they're seeing happen. Everybody's dancing, everybody's doing this. Pull the plug, and all of a sudden everybody's just standing there. What are they doing? There's no pulling my plug except in killing me. And if somebody killed me in the middle of expressing, then I would be in full bliss. And that would be absolutely my best death.
What is it about singing and the way that you sing that makes you feel really good?
Well, singing is, and even the Muslims will agree with me on this. The Islamic people really do understand the importance of vocal expression when they're in their pure understanding of it. I do believe that here in Asia they do have a certain understanding, but they're getting so wrapped up in the electronics, they're all starting to do this speak sing. So speak singing is vibrationally not as vibrational. You're singing from a higher in the lungs, not from the core. The core is not really even involved in the singing. They're singing like I'm speaking, and then they amplify that and they make it loud. and they feel very proud of themselves because they think they're singing so well. But what's not happening is that their bodies are not fully vibrating from their expression. What it is vibrating from their electronics, but it's not vibrating from their expression, so they're very surfacey. So what's being passed through the electronics is a very surfacey expression, not something very deep at all. And everybody gets really all into it. And the spiritual community is like into the chanters who are in this very surfacey om sound. And they go home, they amplify it, and then everybody's like, oh, I'm transported. But it's not doing anything because the intent is not, since it's not coming from the core, it's not vibrating from the core, then it's not vibrating the full intent of that being. So they can put all sorts of intent into that sound that is not true and honest. They're not being honest. Because again, if you pull their plug, then we don't even hear them.
Mm-hmm. And you know this because?
And I know this from doing it. Because, and you were the only person who was able to see it, and that was I've had a lot of people speak about angelic voice, ethereal, this, but then they will go down the block and go to a DJ dance, and get really into that sound, and to me that's like somebody who's eating really fine organic vegetables and then goes down the block and gets a big steak, a juicy steak, and eats it. And says, so this is really food. It isn't as loud as that boombox. Like the other night when we were in the house, our room was vibrating from the DJ music that was down the block. I mean, it was even further than a block. I think it was at least 3 blocks. The speaker may have been facing us, I don't know, but we were going boom, boom, boom. Yeah. And it's like, what? And so I am like an old man. To everybody, you're just not in with the cool things of life. You're just an old man and just grouchy. And these things are really happening. This music is. Are we having a good time?
Yeah, kind of.
What are you doing?
Grouchy.
What happened?
I'm not grouchy. You say you're an old man and you're grouchy.
You're grouchy. You're very grouchy right now. And I think I'm just an addendum to my expressions about electronics. I'm extremely talented with computers. It could have been my career. So I'm very, very adept at that kind of world. Instead of going that way, though, I had a teacher who told me that if I didn't continue playing the violin, I would be unhappy, and I could just use the computers however I want, because that's an easier thing. But to give up learning and mastering my violin would be the more difficult thing to keep up once I'm older. And he was absolutely right. He's one of those people that happened in your life, like what Alex said. He's one of those people who say a thing, and he may not even have been that dense about it, but he was just saying his truth, because he was a pianist and he gave it up to do computer, and now he teaches computer, and now he was teaching computers, and he saw my talent in computers, and he could easily have just continued to push me in the computer realm and just give me all this but he said that to me, and wow.
Changed your life.
Yeah. But electronics is something that I see as extraordinary magic and an immensely powerful tool for helping society. And so I want that to be clear, that I'm not speaking against that. I'm speaking against the addiction to electronics. I'm speaking that because it's so powerful, and it is a power tool, and people get addicted to it. And then their addictions, just like drugs, and we get addicted to things that are outside our power center. And we have to be careful with them. We have to moderate them. There has to be a balance. It has taken a long time to figure out how to use electronic sounds with us. Now I feel very, very confident that it does not take anything away. I turn off the boombox and we're still there. And that's really important because I haven't lost my core expression. The violin is still fully expressive. Somebody might say, well, you're addicted to playing the violin. And really, the violin doesn't do anything. It's a piece of wood that I energize through my core. It's me that energizes it. Electricity is electricity. It is full of energy. It is nobody's doing anything. It's doing. And that question of what's doing and what that electricity is really important to me. And going.
That's great.
It is.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting.
Do you want to lead me on?
So do you feel, what is this thing that's driving you to continue to play even though you don't really have any opportunities, that you have less attention on what you do than you ever have in your life? What is it that's driving you to continue to play and continue to pursue your craft and keep working at it?
Well, the first thing is the one that I first mentioned, and that when I do that, and I'm doing it from the core, I know that it transmutes energy in that spot that I do it, no matter where. If I do it in Guanajuato when my mother died, and I was feeling that, and I did it, I know that at that place that I did it, I think I was in front of a wall. I just went berserk there.
Mm-hmm.
That I, speaking very, very, very theoretically and intuitively, that place something quite extraordinary will happen in that spot in the future.
You believe that?
Yeah. Because energy, it will draw to that spot something that happens. Because it's dense, that dense energy has been placed there in my expression.
Mm-hmm.
I was extremely passionate. My mother died. I was channeling all that stuff right there. Something's gonna happen there. Something's gonna happen in the places we played in Lisboa.
Like the Angel Tunnel.
In the Angel Tunnel. It's not just that I just put music there. I was ceremonial there. I was fully present. I was fully in my partial dream, in a very present place. It was very complex.
But how can you do that when they're just playing to a wall?
I'm not just playing to a wall.
What is happening?
I'm in full communication with something.
What?
I don't know. I can call it divine. I can call it the first cause. I don't like to name, because once you name, you diminish. I know I'm in because it is so blessed, the melodies that come out, even if nobody knows the melodies that just spring from my soul when motivated by just a rocker like a GED. I just go GED, and I'm just off.
How does that happen? Because that happens for me when there's someone watching. I need energy outside of myself, just outside of you and me. Whereas you don't need me or anything. You don't need anybody. You can you go into that state just by playing the violin. Where does that come from?
It goes even further if I establish ceremony and I'm not afraid. The fear of being stopped, the fear of, and I also don't believe that. I don't believe that people necessarily like what I do. I'm not. We're very different that way. What I'm doing is I believe, because it is so, I feel so connected to my core and I'm so fully present that it couldn't be anything but beautiful. Because the purity of the expression, the purity of the intent, it is that core truth that the Tao speaks of as one cannot name. By naming one, it becomes unreachable. It is the unnameable. It's without any doubt. And so therefore anywhere that I can express that from that space leaves that energy there, because I have vibrated all those things around me. The little doggy that is looking up at me when I sing to the doggy.
Or the kitty.
Or the kitty, or the bird, and the birds and I sing together.
Or the tree.
Yeah, and so it also hurts when people arrest me, or when they tell me to go away, or they say, stop that, you like this. It just brings up the even deeper, you're doing that to me from a completely superficial and greedy and mean and unseeing place, just from complete selfishness. And I'm doing this as complete service and complete openness, and so here I am in full splendor for you. And then I move on. And this happened in walkabouts. Every walkabout path that I no matter as simple, root for me is the same. In fact, I would say that my walkabouts have been more ceremonial than a lot of the indoor things I've done recently.
Yeah.
I've made a beautiful start, and where it starts, I honor, I kneel, and I touch. And that touching of the ground for me is also an acknowledgement that I have just left that energy in that space. I also feel that Alex's place is going to be, he's just going to get so much.
From us having played there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I believe that too.
And that was touched.
Yeah.
I touched ground there.
Yeah. So you're devoted to something that's beyond the physical, even beyond yourself.
And unnameable.
Yeah. How can you hold on to that in this kind of world that we live in?
I don't know.
That's my question, I think. Is how do you keep that in the center of your focus when we live in a world that's so focused on everything else besides what you're talking about?
Well, one of the ways is to not use a phone.
Yeah.
And not look at any of the entertainment. I no longer seek entertainment from digital means, and from a long time ago I realized that the digital entertainment and the digital method of encoding music all the things that we have in entertainment now, that it could be more easily manipulated than the analog stuff. Like a record made in, records made in the, let's say the 30s, Frank Sinatra and all the symphonies and all the different pop stars that were singing at that time. Their record, they sang into a device, and a needle was pressed onto something and actually physically charted what it was that they were doing. So that was basically what a record was. It was a physical. The electricity helped them take their sound to that record, and it vibrated and created a. With the digital, it's these little pieces of information, and not only is it that they're in space and there's tons of room relatively to each piece of information. It is called each digital, as it's a byte. There's tons of room between each byte. Like when they started doing CDs, the digital information, the bytes were all arranged to create the sound that we made. So we would sing into a microphone. It would go into this device, and then the bytes would be arranged. But the difference between a record and this method was that there's so much room between the bytes. One can almost say it's infinitesimal. And we're proving that because we're increasing it more and more. We're now up to terabyte, I think. And we may be even more up to zettabyte.
Probably larger.
So gigabytes way past. And when I first got a computer, I had a megabyte computer, and it was 64, and it was maybe even a kilobyte. And since then to now, we're way into we're probably way into zettabytes. And that's room. And what is in that space that's between each byte? What is all that stuff in there? And my answer to that was the intent of the creator, the intent of whoever created that piece of information. So that if people were in their intent of making that CD to make a lot of money, then all of that intent of their wanting to make a lot of money went into that empty space, so that when their CD is played, you receive that information from them as well as their music. You receive this greed of their making a lot of money by doing this CD or doing this movie. So my choice has been to stop listening to that. I cannot listen to it anymore because I have that feeling of what's happening, what is going on here. Until that's investigated, until we truly understand whether that is true or not, I cannot accept this way. And so I pulled out.
Do you want some more tea?
More tea.
You made a pot of tea and then you don't have any tea.
And she can stop the thing.
You're really amazing. You're very inspiring. What is, why does he do that? That's so silly. I just don't, I mean, I've been with you for 15 years and I don't understand how you're able to do what you're doing.
I think one of the important parts of it is to really take this first Tao. This Lao Tzu really got it. The naming of the unnameable is the naming of it makes it ungraspable. So I almost want to read it. Naming is one of the first mistakes. So if somebody says something like God, that's already limiting. There it goes. It's over. You not reaching that, because God is not, in even saying the ultimate source, as soon as you say it, it all of a sudden becomes limited by the word. The only way that I have of doing this is to fully express from the core this thing I do. There's no name and no words, there's just pure connection. And I believe that everywhere I am, and not to be able to do that is part of the world's society's attempt to shut me down. And I take it that way. I take it that because I don't necessarily think that what I do is beautiful, because even if people say it's beautiful, there's plenty of people who say it's ugly and it's so weird, and why do you sing in a high voice, why do you do this and that? And that's because I can do it. I'm able to do it, and that's just the simple answer. But it's also, it's in conversation always. There's a conversation happening when I'm singing. There's always speaking, and wherever this happens, wherever this dialogue and this dialectic, sound dialectic occurs, is full of all that is the unnameable. And because of that, it is a blessed area, always. Even if it's the most inane thing, like the shower. I sang in the shower, and that was a really beautiful play that happened on this deck. It's just part of it is my own comfort at not wanting to annoy everybody, because I don't know what happens for people when they hear me. So I don't think of it as necessarily that people think it's beautiful, and I don't know. People can say that to me, and at the same time then turn around and go run over to a DJ and get thumped and say, this is truly music. And of course, the DJs and all of the electronic loud thumping sounds are everywhere. So when I do a walkabout, I have to deal with them. They're thumping me, and I can put a sonic shield around myself, and I've done that. And in certain cases, they've turned up the music. You were there when they did that once. And it's interesting. They were turning up this amplification, this electricity to deal with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that's why I can do this, because I really feel connected to this, whatever it is unnameable.
You are connected to it.
And so I believe in and I don't, it's not I didn't get a diploma from a shaman or from a guru that said I'm this or that, and then I can, after 2 years or 1 year of doing an Om in a lotus position in their presence, then now I'm a master or something, then go teach people voice activation or this or that.
And charge them a bunch of money.
Charge them a bunch of money, which is their intent to learn that.
Yeah.
I, in fact, am very strict about that. I do service without asking for money. I have always done that, and because I'm so sure of this connection that happens in my core, I require no money to do it, and just it makes me. I do wonder sometimes I do wonder, but it's not. I don't require it. I do wonder when somebody uses the blessing and then does not honor it in some way or other. I always wonder, but that's the way it goes.
Wonder what?
What's going on for them? Whether they really do what they see what I'm doing it as, if they really do see duty or not. And words don't work for me. And somebody can say that it was so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. And like, oh, it was easy for you to say that. But it's really, that's all that's happening, is that they're saying a bunch of words.
So You won't. People will leave comments in this video. Will you even see the comments? Would you listen to me tell you them?
Yes, I will, but for the most part, I won't believe them.
What are you making this video for?
You asked me to. I also feel that I'm talking, and it's helping me.
It always helps you.
It's helping me reaffirm some things. And my mother was not very pleased with me once I got into this space and started to really honor this truth. And it is a truth. People may think what I do is ugly. They may think it's beautiful. Whatever they do. But the truth of this connection is all I need to, and I need to honor. And I honor it. I'm devoted to it because and I'm also living my hologram fully. Everybody has their own perspective in life, and most people just make money their god, and that's a god. Money is a god. It's limited. It can be here now, and it can be stolen. It's here, but this core connection is not anything anybody can steal except killing me. And even in killing me, I believe that the reverberations of what I have left in my wake will stay and bless all beings who encounter it.
I believe it too.
So that's what keeps me going, and that's what, so that as my hands become, and right now they're doing good, good to stretch them just for fun. But as I get older and my hands decay, I'm prepared to play one note. I'm prepared to just do one note if only my one finger can work. I'm prepared to do that. I'm prepared to express through this core, whatever voice is there. It scares me a bit because I don't know, do I have that capacity to really still fully express? But I believe right now that I do, and I'm scared that I won't, but I have to trust. There's a trust one. I have to surrender to my aging, and I have to be great, and I am grateful for the extraordinary ability I have to express from the core in this way, from my vantage point, from my holographic, is so beautiful. Because I have turned off all entertainment. I don't have to listen to anybody else's music. I don't have to listen to anybody else's anything, because from this core is this blessed sound and these melodies that are just so rich and so wonderful.
Are you done?
I don't know.
For now?
I'm drinking tea.
Oh.
I can complain more about DJs, but
Alright. Maybe that's for another video.